Good morning. It says I'm live. It says I'm live, so it must be so. How are you this morning? It's Saturday morning, the 26th of March. This is my 27th consecutive live stream. Now, I don't believe that. I believe I forgot to change the numbers along the way. I think it's higher. Oh man, I messed up something. I just remembered as we speak that I messed something up. Okay, got that done. Good. So how are you this morning? Do you have brilliant plans for the day? My day is going to be showing houses. A lot of that. I mean, like all day. And am I happy about that? I don't know. I mean, it is what it is, right? I'm just trying to put everything in focus as I'm going. So I'll do the live stream now. Then I've got to get ready to go show houses. I got to show the first house at like 12:15. And I have to show houses till like 1 to 3-ish. And then I suspect I'm going to get emails to do some other stuff or texts. I don't know. It's going to be a fascinating day, I think. I don't know. So, there's this desire to work outside. It's getting to be spring, but it's cold out there. It's cold and nasty this weekend. We were supposed to have a day coming up in the 70s, but it's right now. It's just chilly, nasty. I showed houses yesterday night. I didn't get some stuff done that I wanted to do. It's just, things are a little bit up in the air right now, I'd say. So, should we just go into stuff? Should we just start? See where it leads us? I think that's what we're going to do. I mean, it's Saturday morning. Let's get into it. So the first thing, let's just go over my showing report from yesterday. I showed, 6 houses? 5 houses. We'll go over it. I'm getting them. Okay. Do I want to put them in order? Kind of. I kind of want to put them in order. Okay, so I showed houses to 2 different buyers. Showed 3 houses to the first buyer, 2 houses to the second buyer. I was all the way out in Baldwin, and I was all the way into what I would call Princeton Heights, Boulevard Heights. What does it say? It says Boulevard Heights. I'll go with that. I'll agree with that. So here we go. So buyer number 1 wants a condo. Maybe. Thinking about it. Might buy a house if it's the right price. Okay. Has an area where they're kind of where they want to be. And so that makes it pretty easy. We had talked maybe 2 weeks ago how they weren't in a good spot as far as like finding a place to live. Too far away. But met up with her. I'll go that far. Met up with her and we went to our first condo in Baldwin. Actually, it was in Manchester, which is next to Baldwin. And I was running late because I had some phone calls that were taking up my time. And she said, that's cool. There's already 2 agents here. One of them can't get the door open. And I was like, well, that's great. So when I got there, I don't like to go through houses when there are like 12 people or condos or anything else. It's annoying. I'm trying to see this place for myself and for my buyer, and like, what are we doing here? Like, what's going on? Like, how's the kitchen look? How's the bathroom look? How's this look? Now, this was a very fascinating, I'd say, event for me. So I was talking to my buyer outside before we went in, and it was windy, and there was no place to park because it was a condo, and they all have garages. So there's no place to park, and she's telling me all about how the people are struggling to get in and everything, and I'm smiling because I've been there. And so we go inside. I open the door, and from across the room, some guy says, "John Shank, is that you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's me," because I am John Shank. Yeah, that's who I am. And he's like, "Hey, man, how you doing?" I'm like, "I don't. What's going on here?" And it was a guy that I went to high school with. I mean, that I knew pretty well. And he's like, I'm like, "What are you doing here?" He's like, "I'm buying a house." I go, I said, "You live in O'Fallon. What are you doing trying to buy a place here?" It's like, "Well, I'm getting married, and the child needs to get to the right school district, so we're moving here." I was like, "Oh." So it was like, he has another agent, right? He's got an agent showing him places, and I didn't want to, I didn't want to be a real estate agent and horn in on that lady's space. So I just was like, "I'll text you, I'll message you, and we'll get in touch," because I haven't seen him in a long time, and nice guy. His mother passed away a while back, and it makes me sad. So I will go and discuss that at a later date. But anyway, it's weird when you get recognized at a showing. I mean, it's weird when you get recognized anyway. Speaking of that, I got to do some things. But anyway, so then my buyer's like, "Well, that was weird." I was like, which is more weird, walking around a house with somebody that knows you and doesn't say anything, or somebody that flat out introduces themselves to you? I think it's better to do number two, just in general. And so she's like, "Who's that?" I said, "I'll tell you later." And so we, whenever you have to go show a house, and there's or a condo in this case, and there's two other agents with their people in it, it gets a little ridiculous. So I went down to the basement because I thought that might give us some space. The first thing we did, we looked in the kitchen. It had tile countertop. I don't like tile countertops there. I've said it. I don't like bathrooms and kitchens, and I don't like tile countertops. Now, if that makes me a bad person, all 10 of you that watch the stream should just turn around and go somewhere else. And I think, if you want to like a tile countertop, more power to you. I hate them. You say, "Well, why do you hate them?" One, I like flat things like countertops. I'm good with that. Like just a flat surface. That's number one. Number two, I don't like the idea of like that grout and stuff in my, like having to clean that. Do you know how much stuff can get in there? Like just on your floors. A lot of people are like, I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but I've been in places in my life where someone's like, "Oh, that's interesting. Like gray grout with that. That's interesting color. The gray grout with the tiles." And it's like, then they clean it and they're like, "Oh my God, it's not gray. It's white." And it's just that disgusting. Well, now think about that on your food. Ugh. So anyway, let's be honest. Now, we've been to another condo in this complex, and it was relatively fixed up. This one was rough. Now, there was a pricing difference of over $30,000. Okay. But what was interesting is the floor plan was a little bit different, and my buyer hated it. Like hated it. By the time we got to the basement, and she was already like, "I'm ready to go." Now, when that happens as an agent, it's kind of like, sometimes you want to go, and sometimes you're like, "Well, we're here," and I don't have the other showings. I mean, the showings, we're a little bit early for the next one, so I don't know that we really want to do that. So, like, can we just walk around some more and just deal with it? Sometimes we'll leave. I mean, if it stinks and stuff. This I thought was interesting because it was a different floor plan than the one she said she liked. So I'm kind of interested. So interested in knowing like what, is this a floor plan that she could go with if the place was different? Now, to me, if I know a house, I keep saying house, but I say house because I'm just used to saying the word. It's a condo. I'll keep doing this. Typically when, you see one condo and it's a certain price, and then they see one that's lower, you got a good comparison. And so to me, this particular place, it was rip out the carpet, paint the walls, tear out the kitchen, and you might have something. Might have something pretty nice. But that's not what she thought. That was not her opinion. She was like, it's dirty, it's disgusting, and I don't want to have anything to do with it. Now, I'm okay with that. Like I was telling you about one of my buyers, they look at the pictures, and if the pictures look pretty, they go to the house. It doesn't matter if it's a fix and flip. It doesn't matter if it's in a terrible neighborhood. They like pretty pictures. So, I mean, that's just how that goes. I gotta text somebody, but I'll wait. I gotta text somebody else. Anyway, I'm sorry, I had to do something. So, it's kind of interesting in how you look at how do pictures work for different people. You wouldn't think that it would be that different, right? I wouldn't. I mean, I tell people all the time, like the pictures really are kind of a representation of the house, but don't get too, don't take the pictures too literally, maybe is the word. Let's make sure you get to the house and take a look at it anyway, if it's in your price range and it's in the area you want to be. And on the curb appeal, like, does it look like something you would actually ever live in? I think that's important. So anyway, I mean, when I see a house asking price $30,000 less than another one, I'm not too upset about it. But the floor plan being different, it was not as good. It was not as good. And I think that while she was saying that it was disgusting and dirty, which it was, I think the real issue is the layout didn't make any sense for her. And so with that, we left. What's the point, right? At a certain point, we walked around enough. There's no need to go on, and we went to the second house. So we went from a condo to a house. Now, my own opinion in St. Louis right now, condos are trading for like maybe 10 to 20% less than a comparable house with a yard and all that stuff. And so, I think as a smart process, my buyer has determined that she will pay X for a condo, a max, and she will pay another max for a house, which is a different price, which makes perfect sense to me. I have no issue with. So we went to the second house. And when we went in, the floor was beautiful. When you looked at the house, the curb appeal was fantastic. Okay. When you walked and this is one of those things that you can talk about forever, I guess. If you walk in the door and on the left-hand side, there's an office or a dining room or a bedroom, it's always hard to tell what is that room right off to the side of the house. And then the second thing to me is why is it set up like that? What is the reasoning for this room that doesn't make any sense? When we look at luxury homes, frequently we'll open the door and it'll open into a foyer. Or I can't say the word. I say foyer. If it's wrong, I apologize. Foyer. I can't. It just doesn't sound right to me. So anyway, you walk in and you've got this big open space. Okay, and I like that. I like that. I think that makes sense. Some people don't. Some people feel like that's they're going to let cold air into the house or something, so they want like a closed space. When I show houses in Lafayette Square downtown, I say downtown, but kind of close to downtown in the city. Lafayette Square is a cool thing. It's got maybe 10 to 15 foot high doors. You open those and it's like a breezeway before you actually open the doors to the inside of the house, which is really neat. And they figured that out in like the 1800s. So anyway, this house was built in the when was it built? 1978, year after I was born. Anyway, walk in, thing to the left doesn't make any sense to me. Walk forward, there's a fireplace on the right. There's a mirror above it. Straight forward is the door out to the backyard. And then if you turn a little bit, you're in that room with the fireplace. If you go to the left, if you look to the left, it's the kitchen. If you go to the right, past this room, you're going to get to the bedrooms. So now you've got what is that room? Is it a dining room? Is it a formal dining room now in this space? And we were looking at it, and when you put your table there, if you were to put a table there, you couldn't walk to your bedroom without walking around the table every single time. And if you made it in the living room, you couldn't use I'm not saying that everyone should have a sectional. I don't have a sectional, but if you didn't have a sectional, the wall was too narrow. You'd have like what I would call a love seat versus a couch. Love seat's smaller, and that doesn't make any sense in that space. You couldn't put the TV anywhere, so now you've got this room that's not sensical. It's just kind of there, and you say, "Well, John, it's got an eat-in kitchen," and it doesn't really. It had it's not an island if it's not like permanent to me, and I don't remember what they call it. You guys know. You can put it in the comments if you ever come to be on one of my live streams. But anyway, we go in there and how do I put it? We go in and there's no point. So we walk past that and we go to the first bedroom. Nice size. No ensuite. Okay. We go to the second room. The second room had been a bedroom, but then it had been changed to a laundry room. And this is not, look, as people get older, it's okay. I mean, if someone wants to stay in their home and they just don't want to go down the stairs, I'm totally okay with the idea of taking out one of the bedrooms that you don't use and turning it into a laundry room. It doesn't work really with the flow of the house, but you can stay in your home, and that's nice. So I don't have a problem. So where there was a closet, they had built a laundry, a stacked washer and dryer. They'd put a space for that, and that was still there. And then in the first bedroom, which would be the master, they did have an ensuite. The finishes weren't of very high quality, and the closet in the master was cut off due to a coat closet in the middle hallway. And so you're in this room, and you don't have as big of a closet as maybe one of the other bedrooms, but it's your main bedroom. Not so great. It was carpet, and the flooring did matter here. I don't care if you have carpet in the bedrooms. I really don't. The flooring, though, when you walked in, there was a certain kind of flooring. When you turned to the left, and so then there was a transition to when you were in that weird room with the mirror and the fireplace. That was a different type of flooring. When you went to the left, that was a different type of flooring. That was more of a pergo. And then when you went to the hallway in the other side, it was the same flooring as when you walked in the house. It's kind of confusing. Like, why can't we just have all the same kind of flooring? And the only reason why is it'd be nice if it was all one layer, you know? Anyway, the backyard was ginormous. It was wonderful. And my buyer has a dog, and so I thought that would be a wonderful place for the dog to go run around. Then we went, the kitchen was basic. I would just say basic. Then it was not of great. I mean, you wouldn't buy the house because of the kitchen in this one. Then we went to the garage. The garage had a door to the backyard, which is cool because then you can get to the backyard. The patio in the back was maybe a 10 by 10 concrete pad. Not so great. Not so wonderful. Then we went to the basement. Basement was fascinating. Basement was not finished, but maybe it was partially finished. There was carpet rolled up, which led me to believe that they pulled up the carpets before the showing. There was no disclosure about any moisture, but there was no carpet. But then on the one room, there was like an area rug. It was weird. It was like kind of fixed up, but it wasn't fixed up. And it wasn't like in South City. That's very common. You have an unfinished basement and you don't do anything with the walls and you just kind of make a space, like make a little area to hang out. And that's totally normal. This was in Baldwin. No walkout, which is fine. The wall that was towards the backyard had no windows. So, you really couldn't do a walkout there. The space where the washer and dryer should have been, it was there, but you couldn't really put a washer and dryer in there without getting a plumber because they'd use that same pipe when they went up to the first floor for the new laundry room, which isn't very attractive. And anyway, then what? Systems I didn't pay too much attention to. It looked like they were going to need to be replaced in that particular unit. And then I just asked, is this something that you're interested in? She said, I don't really think so. I think I still want a condo, and that's okay. But that was a great showing. Why was it a great showing? One, there was no one there, so you could walk through at your own pace. You could say what you wanted to. I mean, I don't think there was anybody there recording us. If they were, we didn't say anything that was that outlandish. And so then we went to the final place. It was another condo, and this condo was impressive. Why was it impressive? It was huge. It was huge. There's no backyard. One of the bedrooms on the first floor had been converted to a formal dining room, which was dumb. But my buyer felt like that could be a home office in that room. The units were built in the 80s, and there was a fireplace straight from the 80s right there. Very fascinating to see, just because it dates it so perfectly. A huge bedroom in the back with carpeted bathroom, which no one likes, but that can be fixed. Then there's a deck to the back. I would say maybe, I don't think it's a deck so much as maybe a porch. It's very small, but it's cool. You can put like a little chair there and sit and stare at there's like a ravine. Like you're not playing in the backyard. There's nothing there. It's like a mountain. So, it's like you're on the side of a mountain. So then we went to the bottom floor, which had been converted. One is a family room. It was huge. There was a fireplace, gas, and then there was what was there? There was another bedroom. There was a place for like storage. There was a 2-car garage. It's a beautiful unit. There were people there, and they were annoying, no question. There was like 6 people in this group. It's like, come on. 6 people aren't buying this place. You know, you don't all need to be here. Like, maybe go to a restaurant or something together, but let's not look at houses together. You know, and you say, well, it was just their kids. These were old people. These were like people my age. Anyway, had a laundry room on the first floor. My buyer has a dog. My buyer in this particular condo has no place to let the dog out except for the front. And that would have to be on a leash every time the dog had to go out. That's a lot. That's asking a lot. Buyer says she doesn't mind. So of those, we ran comps on the last one, put together an offer. I don't know if we're going to submit the offer, but I know that we put one together. I don't know what the house is or what the condo is going to go for. I know that the condo fees per month are pretty steep, almost $400. That's a lot of money. So then I was done with those showings, and I felt good. I was feeling good. Now, one of the problems I have, just so that you know, is I tend to like if I'm supposed to be on time, I mess. How do I put this? So there's 3 houses, okay, and I've got them set up for the showings. And what makes me happy is if we show up at the right time to each house. So I think I set one for 4:30, one for 5, and one for 6, and we hit. I'm sorry, one for 4:30, one for 5, and one for 5:30. We hit the 4. I missed on the 4:30 one. Okay, the 5 o'clock one, we were there at 5 o'clock, right on the button, and the second unit we were there at 5:30. I think that's pretty amazing, and I've been able to do it like it's a game. I've been able to do it from like South City all the way out to Baldwin before, you know, where there's lots of variance. And it doesn't involve the traffic as much as it involves knowing your buyer well enough to know how long they're going to want to take in a unit. Like, how long are they going to want to spend at a certain place, and then guessing. But anyway, I was very happy with that. Then I had my other showings. And so those showings started at 6:30. And this is a buyer that I'm trying to bring along slowly into the process. Okay. Just with the buyers, first off, like, can you get a pre-approval together? Like, can you get a pre-approval? Doesn't matter what the number is, just can you be pre-approved? That's number one. If the buyer can get pre-approved, then their next task is to go look at houses. Can they go look at houses? And if they can go look at houses, then it's let's learn about houses that we're looking at and what we're trying to do, accomplish when we go looking at houses. And then finally, can we write an offer on a home? That's kind of the quick and dirty for me. And so for this particular buyer, we've gotten the pre-approval. We're looking at houses. We're trying to teach a little bit about the houses every day. One of the mistakes that he's making is he wants to live in what I would call a frou-frou part of the city, or the county. So he wants to live in like Webster or Kirkwood. And he only wants to pay a certain amount of money. And I don't blame him, because he's a first-time home buyer, only wants to spend. So what we've ended up doing is we go to the worst parts of the best suburbs and cities in the county. And those aren't nice places. There's a reason why they're low priced. It's not that it's the ghetto. Don't get me wrong. It's not like you should feel like you should be worried that you're going to get murdered. I'm just saying that the prices of the homes reflect the neighborhood, in the sense maybe the construction is stupid or something like that. And in this particular case, we've just been seeing a lot of homes where, you know, it just wasn't great. It just wasn't great. And I know it's not going to be great, but you can't convince someone of this until they've gone a few times. And it's not their fault. People seem to think that if we go to a house and it doesn't work out for them, that somehow they've made an error in judgment. No, you go show houses, you go look at houses that you want to look at in particular neighborhoods. And if it doesn't work out, that's okay. You made an effort. Going to see a house that's terrible is better than not seeing any houses at all, my opinion. So the first house we're looking at it, we drive up to it and it's already a no. It's already a no. It's terrible. It looks terrible. It's an open door house, which means that somebody just sold it to Open Door, and then Open Door goes in and maybe does a few repairs, makes it look pretty, puts the pictures up, and then tries to sell it. But sometimes they buy houses that are terrible, and they don't. I mean, they do it on such a volume that if they do eat it on a few houses, they're fine. But anyway, we go in. To the left, there's a room that's very square. To the right, there's a room that's very square. It's kind of hard to tell which they are. You go through the hall. To the left is the bedroom. The bedroom, you can't fit anything more than a queen size bed in. You go, the next room is the bathroom, meaning one. And then you go, the next room is the kitchen, which has an eat-in section and also has a porch in the back. Nothing really that great. So we go to the basement because, well, I mean, why not? Let's go to the basement. That evidence of significant foundation failures over the years. So much so that they've got that drapery up on the walls, which is basically admitting that they're not going to fix the problem, so they just cover it. Which I've always thought was kind of funny. But probably true. I mean, there's probably good reason. So anyway, the basement was, unfinished. Couldn't get through to the back. There was a walk out, but you couldn't get to the backyard. The door was like jammed. So then there's an upstairs. So we all go upstairs. Now the steps are like dicey. And then once we get upstairs, it is a space. It's up in the attic. It isn't climate controlled, and it's not tall, and it's so short that when you stand up, you can't stand up all the way. And I'm not even 6 feet anymore. I think I've shrunk, but anyway, I couldn't do it. And the buyer that I'm working with, he's over 6 feet, and his dad is like 6'4", 6'5". It's just a terrible spot. So we turn around and I was like, I've been telling him, look, we can't find value in these neighborhoods. This is not where we want to be. This is not the way you want to play. In my opinion, I think we should be in X part of town. He doesn't want to be in that part of town because of maybe, I don't know how to put it. He doesn't want to be in that part of town because of, he knows a bunch of people down there. Let's put it that way. He doesn't want to be running into them all the time. He wants his space, which that's fine. It's okay to want your own space, but a first-time home buyer, single fellow, let's get, and he's the one responsible for paying everything. So let's not do this. Let's go and spend money on a place that you like. Is that fair? I put us in South City, Boulevard Heights. Now, I have other buyers looking at Boulevard Heights in South City. And so they wanted to look at this house too. I said, no, the basement's got a problem. They said, okay. But he says, I'm looking at it. I don't care if it's got a basement problem. So we went and looked. Nice house, basement problem. They're going to fix the basement before closing. I don't think they're going to fix it because it looks like it's. But the house was really nice. It had a 2-car garage in the back. It had a second floor that was livable with a bathroom. I mean, you could basically live upstairs and never have to worry about it. You wouldn't have any problems. No en suites for the bathroom, for the bedrooms, but you're not going to get that in a house built in the 1930s. I'm sorry, this house was built in 1950. I'm just looking at the thing now. It was just a no because of the basement. It was a no because of the basement, and we're not really ready to write an offer yet. I was like, hey man, do you have any checks? It's like, no, I use Venmo. If my parents write a check, and I said, no, we got to get you some checks because when you write an offer, you have to have an escrow. This is how I do it. I just feel like I have a better chance of getting the house if I do it a certain way. So he's going to order some checks. He's going out of town this week. By next weekend, he's going to have checks. We're going to look in these spaces. We're going to look at houses. Everything's going to go really well. He's like, you can get rid of those frou-frou places I said I wanted to say. I understand what you're saying now. And like, does it feel good to be right about something? Yes. But it's also depressing. I say, John, how so? This guy has no college debt, is working full-time and saving money and committed to the community. And he cannot find a house in many of the places that he wants to live. He cannot find a house because they're not affordable. Now, what some people mean by affordable and what I mean by affordable are two very different things. I don't believe that we should have the zoning say, hey, you need to build affordable houses. Like, we'll let you build all millionaire houses except for like 4 in the front and the worst lots, and those have to be affordable. I'm not for that. As far as for mixed neighborhoods, I'm okay with it. Forced mixed neighborhoods, I'm not okay with that. I do believe that there's an economic principle that says if it's worth the money, somebody will spend it to make it, these communities. But there may be a housing shortage. Certainly there's a listing shortage. But I just think that if you, for the most part, I understand like Beverly Hills, for the most part, I think that there should be places in every community where people can live in nice homes and they can be affordable to them. Meaning if they have a job and they're working all the time and they're doing their thing, they're being good citizens, they should be able to afford housing. And you say, well, are they not able to? I say, yes, they're not able to. Not in this particular case. This guy cannot afford a house where he wants to be able to kind of go to a bar or walk to the bar and have a good time. He can't do that. Not even close. And we're talking to me, it's a lot of money. $300,000 doesn't get him even close to where he needs to be. That's wrong. That's wrong. That wasn't the way it was when I was growing up. Do I have any ways to solve that issue? No, I don't. I think you should look at certain things, certain government policies and question. I mean, do you want to be the most populous place in the world? Or do you want to have some controls over your immigration? And then look at all the other issues. We have no control over that stuff now. It was bizarre. One of the more bizarre things I've seen during my time in the good old United States. That being said, let's move on to the Google News. Here we go. Thought this was interesting. I don't know if you can see it. I might have been down a little bit. Hayden Panettiere, okay, after involvement in physical fight outside an LA bar, says her rep. This got, I don't know how many searches. I mean, it was just one of those things. I almost don't even want to spell her name right because it's just too long. Panettiere. Panettiere. Okay. She used to be in a show like Nashville, I think it was called. She used to be married or had a kid with a Klitschko brother, like a boxer. I don't know what she's up to now. Anyway, apparently she's okay after involvement in a physical fight. Now, my question to you is, are there any other kinds of fighting? A mental fight, a chess fight? I don't know. It says a representative for her tells people that she's okay after she and on-off boyfriend, Brian Hickerson, got into a physical brawl outside the Sunset Marquis in Los Angeles. Well, what is this? What is this about? It says Hayden Panettiere is okay after she, I don't know if I don't have the Google Trends up to know, but this had a lot of views. After she and her on-off boyfriend, Brian Hickerson, were involved in a physical fight outside a Los Angeles bar. On Thursday evening, the actress, who's 32, and Hickerson, who doesn't have an age, got into a brawl with other individuals while they were outside the Sunset Marquee, as seen in video footage obtained by TMZ. Now, I'm not going to look at video footage of anybody fighting or anything like that. It's not my thing. In an exclusive statement to People, a rep for Panettiere, I'm going with that. If I've got it wrong, I'm sorry, detailed what occurred during the incident. While in the restaurant of the Sunset Marquee, Brian Hickerson, who happened to be with Hayden, made a comment to an individual about leaving the waitress a poor tip. Now, a comment, was this a joke? That same individual, along with the group he was with, began badgering and shoving Brian, at which point security pushed everyone outside. Well, that's kind of interesting. So people are shoving and they're like, you got to go. I don't ever want to be in that spot. Like, I like to eat my dinner. Or maybe these people weren't trying to eat. I don't know. But when I go to a restaurant, I like to eat. I don't want to be pushed out of the restaurant when I haven't eaten everything. Kind of feel like I didn't get my meal. The statement considered Brian was attacked by the group, as was Hayden, who in her best effort tried to diffuse the situation. I would love to have a rep. I mean, not that anybody's asking about like anything about me, and I typically don't get into brawls in restaurants, but it'd be nice to have a rep to just tell people, you know, these things about me that aren't even close to true, but what difference does it make? You know, like John was water skiing this morning, you know, when he caught a fish with his mouth in the water while skiing. So like no one questions it because it comes from your spokesperson. Hayden was refused the opportunity to provide a statement to the police as she was escorted back inside. She is okay. Now she doesn't want to talk to the police. I don't understand. In a clip of the incident, both Panettiere and Hickerson are seen involved in the physical altercation, which escalated from an argument outside of the bar. At one point during the fight, Panettiere gets kicked, and appears to yell, "Brian, jail," possibly a warning to prevent Hickerson from fighting, given that he is on probation. No, this is so fascinating. The brawl appeared to last several minutes, and both Panettiere and Hickerson had to be pulled out of the altercation as the scene broke up. My gosh. Who pulled them out? The spokesperson? A representative for Hickerson, as well as the Sunset Marquee and Los Angeles Police Department, did not immediately respond to People's request for comment. In July 2021, People confirmed that Panettiere was spending time with Hickerson after he served time in jail for a domestic violence case involving the star. Now, he's a star. I've never heard of him. The pair were first linked in 2018 after reports circulated that she and then-fiancé Vladimir Klitschko had split. The actress and Klitschko share a 7-year-old daughter, Kaya. I see I had that right. It says Hickerson was sentenced to April and 45 days in jail after pleading no contest to 2 felony counts of injuring a spouse, cohabitant, girlfriend, child's parent. The Los Angeles District Office confirmed to People at the time he served the sentence from May 7th to May 20th. So we got let's assume that something happened bad, and he got 7 to 20. He got maybe 13 days. Or no, I got 20 days. No, do the math. What is that? See on camera? See how I just totally blimped out? 13. 13 days. In addition to jail time, Hickerson was sentenced to 4 years of formal probation, 52 domestic violence classes, $500 in restitution, and a 5-year protective order for injuring Panettiere. Really? Well, that's not good. This is really bad. Regarding the protective order, a spokesperson for the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office previously told People it does not prohibit the defendant and the victim from amicably interacting with each other. A source told People at the time that Hickerson is intensive therapy treatment. Hayden won't forget what he did, but she wants to forgive and move on. Hayden is sober and doing very well. I didn't know she was having issues. The charges that landed Hickerson in jail previously stemmed from an alleged abusive instance between May 19th and January 2020. Hickerson was in May 2019. He was arrested on a domestic violence charge and released on bail. According to the felony complaint obtained by People at the time, prosecutors allege Hickerson willfully inflicted corporal injury resulting in traumatic condition upon the actress. He pleaded not guilty to one count of felony to violence later that month. The case was dismissed. Our witness was unable to proceed because we could not secure, or our office was unable to proceed because we could not secure a material witness. Well, this is just getting sordid. In February 2020, Hickerson was again arrested on Valentine's Day in Jackson, Wyoming. He was charged with domestic battery and interference with a cop, both misdemeanor charges in Wyoming. Domestic battery is a misdemeanor offense. Interference with a cop is a misdemeanor charge. Interesting. A spokesperson for the Teton County Sheriff's Office told People at the time, according to the court documents obtained by TMZ, Hickerson allegedly punched Panettiere with a closed fist on the right side of her face. Let's see, this is not good. In June 2020, according to a criminal complaint obtained by People, Hickerson attempted to prevent and dissuade Hayden P., a victim and a witness of a crime, from causing a complaint, indictment, information, probation, and parole violating to be sought and prosecuted and assisting in the prosecution thereof. Following Hickerson's arrest in July 2020, the actress addressed the alleged abuse in a statement to People. I'm coming forward with the truth about what happened to me with the hope that my story will empower others in abusive relationships to get the help they need and deserve. I'm prepared to do my part to make sure this man never hurts anyone again. I'm grateful for my support system, which helped me find the courage to regain my voice and life. Sordid. Not fun. Let's go to Steamboat Springs. You ever been? I've been. It's glorious. It's glorious. I mean, it is just, it's so, in the spring, oh my God. I mean, let's look at this one, 33.9. We may have looked at this house before and I don't care. 33.9 million, 1,140 acres. Been on the market 87 days. There's the house. There's the view. I mean, when you think of Steamboat Springs, this is just gorgeous. Gorgeous. I mean, how can we be so lucky to see such a beautiful place? Now, look at that. They've got an indoor pool. That's a river. That's a barn. Look at that. Now, I would like for 33 million, I'd like an outline of the property in one of the pictures. I'm not reading that. Way too much. Listed in 2020. It's 2022, still hasn't sold. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. If I had that kind of money, would I spend 33 million there? Maybe not. But when I did that podcast episode the other day about Bill Gross and PIMCO and him living at Laguna Beach and not getting along with his neighbor, hey man, just move. And this might be a place for you. This is a beautiful, beautiful home and a beautiful, beautiful location. Consider it. Consider it. Then you don't have to. He said he wants to live a private life. This is it. This is the private life right here. Next one. This is a new listing. It says 15.6 million, 7 bedrooms, 8.5 baths, 14,500 square feet, but only a 13-acre lot. Let's take a look. Well, that's beautiful, right? I mean, it is. No, I'm not interested in finding a real estate agent. I am one. No, thank you. Property details. How are we doing? Okay. Majestic overlook at Fish Creek is a spectacular residence situated on almost 14 acres, boasting 14,500 square feet with roughly 5,000 square feet of exterior living spaces. which is really cool, and we've talked about that. The views are truly amazing, spanning 270 degrees, encompassing the Steamboat Ski Mountain, the Flat Tops, Emerald Mountain, and the Sleeping Giant. The owner's influence during the construction process showcased many years of experience in both construction and interior design, creating a home to their exacting specifications and precise detailing. Some of the exquisite features include a hand-scraped walnut flooring. I don't care about hand-scraped flooring. Custom-designed Adler cabinets, solid alder doors, and alder trim. The marvelous home consists of 7 spacious bedrooms, 8 full baths, 3 half baths, steam showers in 4 of the bedrooms, and there's 10 fireplaces. Property history, it's listed in 2021. I don't know if it's new construction. I don't know, but let's take a look. So it sits on a beautiful lot. It's gorgeous. I don't have any doubt. I mean, that's a beautiful room. I love the kitchen. I mean, it's gorgeous. There's your little outdoor space. It looks like you're on the side of a mountain. It looks like it'd be kind of hard to do an outdoor space. So when they say there's all these spaces, I'm kind of intrigued. That's cool. That theater room is huge. Nice. I mean, I don't particularly like to be on the side of a mountain. It doesn't look that bad here, but I don't know. Not for me versus the other one. The other one's twice as much, though. What are we doing? We're not letting me. Okay. Here we go. Last one. $11 million, 5 bedrooms, 5.5 baths, 10,381 square feet on 35-acre lot. 2-car garage built in 1992, 183 days on the market. Let's look at the listing details. Property history. Listed in 2021. Still working on it. 37 pictures. Let's take a look. That's kind of cool. It's not good. No offense. It's not good when you're not showing the house. I need to see the house. 16 pictures in, we don't have the house. Okay, now we have the house. Man, this is nice. Look at that. If you were working in that space, I mean, would you get any work done? Kind of an interesting listing, a little different. Let's get in some articles. Are we there? I got to check the chat just to make, okay, nobody's in the chat. I was worried there. I thought this was an interesting article. Kind of goes with what I'm seeing. Here we go. Let's check one thing real quick. Okay. It says, this is from Redfin, nearly 6,000 U.S. homes have sold for $100,000 and above asking price this year. Now, to me, I told you yesterday, the rumor is on one house in St. Louis, it sold for $90,000 over asking, which is still a significant number. Now, to me, also, if you're at like a $150,000 house, you're not going $100,000 above asking. There is some sort of like logic to it as far as like a scale. The house I saw though in Tower Grove that's supposed to have gone for that is like 9,000, or not 9,000. It's like 350,000. So 90 is a lot on that. At the same time last year, 2,400 homes had sold for at least, now this is as of March 8th, 2,400 homes had sold for at least $100,000 over asking. Americans were competing for a limited number of homes for sale at the beginning of this year, trying to get ahead of rising mortgage rates, and they paid up to win. So, yeah, I remember that. And I don't know if the housing shortage has really gone away as far as listings. But who knows? I anticipate possibly writing one or two more offers today, depending on how it goes. Nationwide, 5,897 homes sold for at least $100,000 over asking price at the beginning of this year, up from 2,241 during the same period last year. The Los Angeles metro area led the way with 718 homes selling for at least $100,000 over asking price, more than any other metro, and up from 273 a year ago. This is according to Redfin analysis of sale prices versus list prices in the 50 most populous U.S. metros from January 1st to February 15th compared to the same period last year. Home buyers are paying up in an effort to beat other bidders competing for the few homes on the market. January was the most competitive month on record, with 70% of homes offers written by Redfin agents facing bidding wars. Partly as a result of fierce competition, the median home sale price rose 14% year over year to $376,000, just shy of the all-time high. Housing demand is outpacing supply as pandemic-fueled remote work encourages many homebuyers to relocate to more affordable parts of the country. That's the narrative. While the number of homes for sale is an all-time low, many buyers of homes that closed in the beginning of 2022 were rushing to take advantage of 3.1 December mortgage rates percent before they started to rise. The average 30-year rate was 3.76 for the weekend in March 3rd, down from the February peak, but still substantially higher than the record lows reached last year. Right now, I think we're running at like 4.8%. So, I mean, we're significantly moving higher. That's going to cause an effect in the housing market. We just haven't seen it really hit. The housing market was in a frenzy beginning in 2022, with buyers competing for limited supplies of homes and sellers reaping the rewards of bid-up prices. Buyers are likely to face strong competition at least through the next 3 months as demand is buoyed by the temporary drop in mortgage rates fueled by the Russian invasion of Ukraine. That's not what's happening right now. But bidding wars may ease a bit by the summer as the more new listings come to the market and mortgage rates resume their rise. Homes are still likely to sell above list price, but the premiums will probably be lower. Now, this is all like kind of in scale. And what I mean by that is the bidding wars may ease a bit by the summer as more new listings come on the market. But what reason is there to believe that more new listings will come to the market, or enough new listings will come to the market? I think that I don't want to go too much more. I don't want to go into the particular spaces. Like St. Louis, Missouri only had 7, it says, but I know that there were more. So I'm not doing that this way. So like, let's do one quote. It says, on top of a lack of homes for sale, which makes everything a hot commodity, buyers are just plain eager. They're anxious to purchase a home ASAP because as rates rise, they won't be able to afford the homes they're looking at now, and they'll soon have to drop to a lower price range. People are willing to bid up prices because they want to be done with their search. That sentence is true. The sentence before that isn't true. The houses will go down in price because people can't afford them. It will happen. It will happen. We don't know when. Just saying. Next article. This is one that I think is kind of fascinating as well. It says, It says middle income households gained 2.1 trillion in housing wealth in a decade. It says now, but this is the little key highlights. This is from Realtor.com. Homeownership brings tremendous wealth gains. Total housing wealth rose 8.2 trillion from 2010 to 2020, with 6.3 billion more homeowner households. New homeowners. A homeowner purchased a single family home existing 10 years ago at the median sales price of $162,000 is likely to have accumulated $229,400 in housing wealth. No. From 2010 to 2020, areas with the greatest increase in middle-income homeowners were Phoenix, Austin, Nashville, Dallas, Houston, Atlanta, Orlando, Portland, Seattle, and Tampa. The aggregate value of the housing wealth rose across all income groups, but those in the high income group gained 71% of the increase in housing wealth. That's all you need to know. The rich get richer. That's all you need to know. Homeownership is widely recognized as the leading source of net worth amongst family, maybe not amongst the wealthy, and maybe that's a problem. Maybe the wealthy figured it out. Housing wealth itself is primarily achieved by price appreciation gains, and the nation has seen home prices accelerate at a record pace during the course of the last decade. It says a new study from the National Association of Realtors, Housing Wealth Gains for the Rising Middle Class Markets, examines the distribution of housing wealth between 2010 and 2020 across income groups and in 917 metropolitan or micropolitan areas. National Association of Realtors found that during these 10 years, nearly 980,000 middle-income households became homeowners. Within that time frame, total housing wealth for this income group surged by $2.1 trillion. Owning a home continues to be a proven method for building long-term wealth. Home values generally grow over time. That's true. I'll agree with that. So homeowners begin the wealth building process as soon as they make a down payment and move to pay down their mortgage. So that what they're saying is basically, you buy a house, you just sit there and it'll make you money at some point. That may or may not be true. It just depends. I don't like the idea that you can buy a house and then not do anything to it and sell it and still do well. So my opinion is you have to do something to the house. It says middle-income households in these growing markets have seen phenomenal gains in price appreciation. Given the rapid migration and robust job growth in these areas, I expect these markets to continue to see impressive gains. They're ridiculous. This all is like the wheels are going to come off of this thing and it's going to be terrible. Now I'm not like, I will say that the housing market is good. I will say that the housing market is terrible depending on the day, depending on how I'm interacting with it. I just want you to understand, I'm not predicting anything. I'm not calling my shot, as they would say. It says these escalating home values were no doubt beneficial to homeowners and home sellers. However, as these markets flourish, middle-income wage earners face increasingly difficult affordability issues and are regrettably being priced out of the home buying process. That's absolutely right. I don't know. I think that this is a ridiculous. I'm going to go back to my screen here. I got nobody in chat, but look, this is kind of ridiculous to be parroting the gains in this way. It's like, well, let's do the period between 2006 or 2005 and 2015. How many trillions did the people have then? You know, it's all when you pick the numbers. It's all when you pick the numbers. And so to me, this is the problem with any sort of thing. Like, do you have equity in your home if you've just sat in it for the past 10 years? Probably. But if you bought a house once or twice in that time frame, you're not doing well. Not doing that well. That's my thoughts. I don't know. Share your thoughts with me. Put a comment in the comment section. Chat with me someday. I'm always around every day, 9 a.m. Come and talk to me. Come and watch the stream. You know, I'm going to keep doing it. Some days they're not so great. Today, getting up to do it, kind of tough. But I mean, we soldiered through. It was a good show. It went very, very well. For some reason, I just can't get started very strongly. And that's when most people start watching. They watch at the beginning. Anyway, thanks for watching today. Thanks for watching whenever you watch. I will see you tomorrow.